season against obviously a premiership contending team. How do you see the performance?
Yeah, it's obviously we're really disappointed with our first half. We gave up way too many scores off turnover. We just tried to play too fast. We looked a little bit scattered on offence, which just fueled their game. And when you're playing against a premiership contender in a really good team in Geelong, they punish you. So I think we were negative 60 odd points from turnover in the first half alone. It felt like they were going to break a record. But to the boys' credit in the second half, proud's probably the word of their response, because it could have gone two ways. Last game of the year, nothing to play for, but we did have something to play for, and that was one of our greatest Richmond men in Camden, McIntosh, and he would never give up. So the boys played the right way in the second half, but as I said, the first half we got taught a footy lesson.
Was that part of the message at half time to sort of play for Camden a bit?
Yeah, obviously that the mindset around it, and we knew what we were playing for, but we just needed to give them some guidance around what we were doing with the ball. We were working hard, we were winning clearances, we were getting enough opportunity. I think in both quarters, it's not like we were getting spanked off the park in numbers and territory, and we were getting our opportunity. It was just we were trying to score way too quick, and which just played into their hands. They're good players. We gave them the ball. So a subtle adjustment in the way that we were thinking and what we were doing with the ball, as well as we kept fighting around stoppage and clearance. So, like I said, we're coming up against a very good team in Geelong. When you're a little bit off or you're a little bit scattered on offence, they make you pay, and they did.
Adem Yze, obviously, great to see him back today, and obviously after taking off the third quarter. What did you sort of say to him? Obviously, he seemed pretty disappointed to be dragged. What would you say to him? How did he take it, I guess?
No, he was fine. He's such an important player for us, and we wanted to give him a taste of AFL footy before the season finished. And the discussion around whether he started as a sub or we could sub him out during the game. Like I said, the risk of him doing something in the second half, we wouldn't have been able to go to sleep at night. So gave him a taste. He's an AFL player. He's a massive part of our future. And that was always going to be the plan. We didn't tell him that, and that's why he's a bit frustrated. And that's the reason why he's such a good player. He wants to win. He wants to help. He had a bit of frustration for that minute or so. But then after that, he was so engaged in helping every player that come off the ground, and showed some leadership, which we know he can. So it was good to have him out there. Good for him to get a sense of what it's going to be like next year when he gets a full season under his belt, and hopefully, like we said, he gets some luck, and he starts to really string some games together, because he's a huge part of our future.
How do you see the season overall now that's come to close?
Yeah, well, it's a hard one. We'll go through that. Our VFL team's still in. They've had a great win today, so we'll have a full season review on Wednesday, and we'll reflect on that as a group. Parts of the season, or there's games that we weren't good enough and we're really disappointed in, but there's other games that we're in. For us as a club right now, we've just got to be in more games, and limit the bleeding when we do have some lapses. So against the really good teams, it's been one quarter that's just blown us off the park. Like I said, the response in the second half was a positive. We've just got to work out different ways and how we can stay in the game longer against the really the quality teams. But as a whole, we feel like we've got some growth. We've got some games into our younger players. Our first year boys showed some huge growth. A few of them obviously weren't available for the second part of the year. But to see Taj Houghton get the back half of the season, and Harry Armstrong come back in after his hammy, as well as the growth of our mid-tier boys. So like Seth Campbell's season was outstanding. So he's backed that up. That's 2 years in a row now. And he's going to be a huge part of our future, and starts to grow his leadership like Sam Banks and Tom Brown. Add that to the youth and those first-year boys, hopefully we can bounce back really quickly.
Did you at the start of the year be blooding some of those younger guys? Like obviously you went to the draft very heavily last year to play so many at one time.
Yeah. Well, we'll talk through this again. There's no guarantee on who's going to get those positions, and irrelevant of your draft or what draft number you are. You had to earn your spot. So it took Harry Armstrong a few weeks to get in, and John Tiffall took him a few weeks to get in. And there's no guarantee that they're just going to get gifted games. They deserve games, and when they did get in, they deserve to stay in. When we're in a position that we've got all of them available, we're going to have a lot of good players playing in the VFL, and that's when we know we're in a good spot as a club. The second part of the year, we unfortunately struggled for numbers a little bit, but the growth, like I said, the opportunity to give them time at AFL level and feel like they belong, I feel like we've taken a step forward.
There's a bit of an incident at the end, I think, with Morris Rioli. Is he okay?
No, our boys got through unscathed, which is nice. We haven't had many of those. I think we had a couple of injuries down at VFL level, but no, our AFL boys got through, which is nice. And like I said, Gibbos was just precautionary and get off and gave trainer the second half. Unscathed, so MJ's fine.